how early it was that first Easter morning. Mary Magdalene rose while it was still dark outside to go to the tomb in the dimness of early morning before the others awoke, just to be there near his tomb just one more time. And she goes to the place where he was buried, but when she arrives, the stone was rolled away. I imagine her standing, knees weak, heart stricken, wondering, how can this be? The stone took a number of very strong people to put in place, and it was guarded. But now no one was there, and the stone was out of place. She was frightened and ran back to tell Peter and the other disciples, saying, "They have taken the Lord out of the tomb, and I don't know where they have laid him." Peter and John ran to the tomb immediately. The sky was beginning to change from deep darkness to the faded blue-gray of morning light. We gather in separate places on another morning today, and I wonder if you've been looking forward to Easter this year. Through the journey of Lent and the journey of our lives in this season, did Easter stand before you as a marker of hope in the distance? There are so many significant days in our lives. Graduates envisioning celebrating the accomplishment of years of hard work. Brides and grooms anticipating their wedding day after months of tedious planning. Maybe the day you'd be standing with passport in hand, ready to experience a new adventure. These days and all of our days, they just look different now. Maybe the day you're longing for most this Easter morning is simply when you get to hug a loved one again, when you get to see a beloved friend face to face, when you can go outside and not be afraid to be there. And I think those are some of the same things Mary Magdalene longed for on that very first Easter morning too. Something in our longing that she too would resonate with. Filled with grief and fear, she makes her way to the tomb. No expectations of anything transformed, only darkness surrounding her that morning. You know the landscape and curvature of the grief-filled thoughts that Mary must have experienced as she forced herself to put one foot in front of the other on the way to the grave. If only I could see him one more time. If only I could hug him one more time. The things that I would say, the things that I would do. But when she arrives, well, it's even worse than she imagined. The stone was rolled away. It was a horrifying sight for Mary. This was not good news at all. So certain that her beloved Jesus' grave had been robbed, she didn't even look inside the tomb. She didn't need to. She already knew that his body was gone. Her slow, plodding steps turned to running as she rushed to tell the disciples what she had discovered. We've had 2,000 years to live with this story, with its hope, with its power, with its fullness, with the stone rolled away. But Easter begins in the dark for Mary Magdalene, the empty tomb eliciting only a deeper emptiness in her soul. She simply didn't understand the events unfolding before her. And I can't help but wonder if only in the smallest parts of our hearts and minds, if today Easter also begins in the dark for us. or the dimness of the hour we're all living in makes it difficult for us to be sure of what we're seeing. Whether the alleluia slides easily out of your mouth this morning, or it's difficult to form the word, I invite you once again into the unfolding story before us today, because Easter is just beginning.